Hi, my name is Stan Radev and I'm the current owner of this beautiful Jeanneau 409 built in 2012. I had the boat for the last 5 years. Absolutely love her, and I want to share with you things that I have learned in the past 5 years about the boat and the endless upgrades that you're not necessarily gonna see in most listings. So all right, follow me, let me show you this beautiful boat. Before we dive into the upgrades on this boat, I want to talk a little bit about the design and what I liked in the last 5 years being in open ocean with this boat, daily sails with my family. So the design of Jeanneaux, they stand out a little bit more from other boats simply because I really like that touch that this particular shell here hides all the lines. So overall the lines of the boat are very stealthy. All lines are hidden underneath the shell and everything is brought back to the steering wheel. A lot of the sailing that I've done has been by myself, even though my family is on the boat. I'm in charge for the entire boat. When we leave for the Caribbean, always we have one person on watch, so a single-handed boat. That's something to be said about it. What makes this 409 different than most of the 409 I've seen in the marinas or seen any other wells when I traveled? I haven't seen a second 409 with a full mainsail. So it's not the rolling mainsail. You guys see the sail back. That gives you extra power, which I really enjoy. I like getting places quicker. And again, it's very easy to handle. Another thing that I haven't seen on most boats in the same class is that the keel is pushed forward. This allows for extra room in the main area inside the boat, and most importantly, it gives extra power going upwind. When I was purchasing this boat, I was concerned about the 610 draft, and that turned into a blessing because by the end of the day, if you're dodging your anchorage with 1 foot, you're at the wrong anchorage. For that exact reason, we install forward scan on that boat, but most importantly, when we're at open sea, we like to see this 3,000-pound balance of the keel 1 foot lower, which makes it for a very comfortable ride in open sea and also adds quite a bit to the performance on that boat. So we're not weathering as much, we're taking waves, and that's why she's an open ocean seaworthy boat. One of the very first thing I did as a boat owner is invest the $5,000 and I spend them on max prop. You need some kind of folding prop if you're into sailing, even if you're into cruising, and I absolutely love this product. What is a max prop? Very quickly, it's not a folding prop, but it's a feathering rudder prop. So imagine my hands are the feathers. So under sail, I go like that, and under motor, they just go in their pitch. Most importantly is when I put the boat in reverse, they have the same leading edge, which is very handy because when I'm docking the boat, I have pretty solid power in reverse, almost as much as I have forward. Another thing that I've learned with the years, it takes a little tiny screw that my diver can put, and that will adjust the pitch of the boat, which is very handy for those long trips where you want to be fuel efficient, run your engine on lower RPM. So love the max prop, and it's already done on this boat. All right, happy to report another major maintenance and upkeep to the boat that we already done. We bought the bullet 10 years later. Erato was pulled on the yard. That was only a month ago, and we sandblasted the whole boat. What is sandblasting? It's pretty much as it sounds, but it needs to be done on every boat, especially when it's 10 years old. So think about it. You have, for each year the boat sits in the water, you have 1 layer of hard bottom paint as a minimum. So after a decade, you're collecting those hard bottom layers of paint on the boat, and at one point every sailor has to bite the bullet, get on the hard, pay the expensive tab, and have the boat completely sandblasted so you can start fresh for the next 10 years. So we did the sandblasting a month ago. The boat turned out beautifully. No stress cracks, nothing like that. We redid the whole bottom. We put 2 times barrier coat on the bottom, and we invested in my opinion, one of the best hard bottom paint, which is the Trinidad. So the hard work is already done, and I hope you guys enjoy the boat for the next 10 years like I did. Since we're on the bow of the boat, we're going to talk about the jib. That was a big upgrade actually a couple of years ago. The guys from North reached out and told me that if we go with a 3D 9 mar, whatever that jib was called, we're going to gain almost a knot cruising speed. They were absolutely right. This is a gorgeous jib. I love it. That was almost $10,000 upgrade, but absolutely worth every single penny, because by the end of the day, the jib is the sail everybody uses more than any other sail on the boat. So as you probably know that we like cruising on this boat, so investing in a proper anchorage system was very important. So we didn't cut corners here as well. We oversized the Rockna. Absolutely love the anchor. You can drop the hook in Charleston, which is 3-4 plus knots of current. Slipped overnight beautifully. And when we build the bridle on the anchor, we went with the Mantis swivel, the real deal, with the Mantis bridle. Most importantly, 120 feet of chain. So nothing you guys can invest here. It's already done. Slip easy at anchorage. All right, at one point you guys are gonna end up in the intercoastal. 41-foot boat, 60 feet mast. It fits in most places where you can go. And that was tested last winter. We had to spend over 100 miles on the intercoastal. Went under every single bridge perfectly. 60-foot mast from the water line. You got to count about a couple of feet, foot and 10 on top. And wanted to give you those numbers so you guys know. Full batten mainsail. It's about 3 years old. It's made out of Dacron, and we ordered that from Quantum when we were purchasing the Code Zero and the asymmetrical spinnaker. Just last month we installed that brand new boom bank. It's a rather large boom on this boat, so having a reliable bank was important for us, because a lot of times we're harvesting our boom halyard. So this thing is brand new, and actually I've taken it only once sailing, so you guys enjoy. All right, let's talk about the canvas work on this boat. It's about 3-4 years old. Maybe in the next couple of years you guys can rebuild it or reinforce it. What I like about it is that we pop this zipper right here, right in the middle, so everything can collapse, including the dodger forward, just in minutes, and it gives you a nice, beautiful view. So you can trim your mainsail, fly your spinnaker easier, and in minutes you can rebuild everything back. I want to stress the fact that the boat comes with a full enclosure. Those are 13 panels, which is very handy in the winter season, very handy if you're doing a crossing and you have this weird wind direction where it's nice and chilly at night at the cockpit. So the enclosure, it's almost as new conditions, and it complements the entire cockpit. So hope you enjoyed that. Here's one of my favorite parts of the boat, the back arc. It took us over a year to design this, test this, but it's finally done, and it's probably one of my favorite features on this boat. So let me tell you how everything started. We did a first season cruising in the Bahamas with a foldable dinghy, and that was great, but you know, we realized that when you go places you have to carry a proper tender. So it's a 40-foot boat, so we were flirting with the ideas of storing a tender on the bow of the boat, buying the prefab davits that you guys see everywhere in the marinas. None of those solutions really were fitting what we wanted to do. By the end of the day, we're water sports people. We like kiteboarding, hydrofoiling, electric hydrofoiling, so we needed a system that will be able to carry a big heavy tender. And also when we arrive at the destination, reality is that you cannot leave your tender in the water. If a squall comes, the tender gets full of water. So we wanted to design a system that will lift that tender in and out of the water effortlessly. So this is how this arc was born, and with the help of a custom welder, she is basically everything that I wanted. So one thing, when we addressed the design, what we saw from other cruisers is that all of those arcs on the back of sailboats, they have the tendency to sway a lot. especially in open sea. For that exact reason, we designed the ark with crossbars. In the design, we made them removable for extra space, but so far we haven't even done that. They're not on the way, and they support. The largest tender we had on this ark was 12.6 hard bottom aluminum tender with a 20 mercury on the back. The ark hold it perfectly. On top of that, supporting that way on the back, we had 2 electric hydrofoils on top, and a bunch of other water toys like kiteboards and surfboards, and the ark just performed beautifully. What I liked at the beginning when we installed the ark, I was a little confused that it misses the clear lines of the boat, but with the time, just the positives are so much of having this already installed on the boat. What I was going to do next before I run out of time to keep the nice and clean design of this beautiful Jeanneau, having this solid arc makes almost useless. This portion can be removed. The lifelines can be attached straight to the arc, which will clean up this whole area here. Since this performs so beautifully, my dream was to continue extending the arc and build another C-bar that goes behind those back shrouds and make the entire top from here to the new C-bar all hard-topped aluminum area. So it's going to add about 250 square feet of extra storage, place where you can put your not just water toys, solar panels. You can move a radar there, and would make the boat look beautifully. Even without that addition, that was my future plan. Just as is, I'm really happy how strong this thing turned out. We didn't know what to expect with it, so the first year when we did a trip with a smaller tender, was 11 foot with a 10 horsepower on the back, and then the last season we went all in with the largest tender, which was the 12.6 with a 20 on the back. So when we arrived at the destination, it was easy to pull the tender in and out of the water, simply because we have the extended davits. This is just a bridle here. So under sail, we like the bridle to be here, and when we're at anchorage, we're sliding the bridle out. So it's easy just to pop that tender out of the water and do that effortlessly every day. That was a huge plus. And long voyages, like when we have to deliver a boat to the destination, when we know that we're going to be like for 3-4 days in open ocean, we kind of end up installing this bracket for the outboard. For me, it was like almost like I didn't understand why most boats have those brackets on the side, which are very high. Very hard to bring an engine up on those. So this handy dandy thing became really convenient, because with the engine down, I can extend it almost to the water line and very easy mount the engine, even using the hoisting mechanism of the ark. Takes a few seconds. Again, we take the engine off the tender only for the big open ocean sailing. When we arrive at the destination, the ark is able to support the whole tender built together. One thing that actually wasn't planned that I really enjoyed actually ended up being perfectly when you put the engine on the bracket. When you extend it in the lower position, you almost have like a second propulsion ready to go. You can fire up that outboard on the back of a boat and have a backup propulsion. Or if you're crazy enough, you can probably try to run both engines at the same time. So something to play with, but again, very happy of how everything turned out. Since we're already on the back of the boat, kind of found with the years, I always found myself backing up into a slip, and I was wondering why is that. I think that this is the step. This is a step that I haven't seen on most designs, including the 2022 models. So this extra step, you kind of see how it's split in the middle. That extra step actually is made sacrificial, is not part of the boat, it's simply bolted to the boat. So sacrificial mean that if you mess up on your docking, you know, you're sacrificing this extra step, nothing with the structure of the boat. But most importantly, it makes a very easy in and out. If you want to bring the camera over here, it's like, I like that a lot because I'm able to walk in and out the boat with supplies, loading and unloading. Most importantly, my kids are able to go in and out very easy. If you have a pet, you got the picture. So I like that we didn't have the long gate, because by the end of the day, if you have the long gate, like you guys see on different boats, then you're stuck to climbing in and out from the side of the boat, carrying like an extra mini ladder just to get in and out of the boat. And this makes it easy stepping in and out. And not to say that it's actually an excellent fishing platform under sail. Yeah, I wanted to mention that. Alright, I'm going to mention a few words here about electronics. Pretty standard configuration throughout the boat. I just want to mention that the boat is fully equipped for cruising and to get you guys in the destination. We have a radar installed. That's a Raymarine radar. We have AIS installed. You can actually see it working here on this plotter. We have a 2 years old, I believe, autopilot. We had to replace the original autopilot, so the autopilot is 2 years old. So everything is built. What are you guys probably noticing on this video that we're running BNG and Raymarine, which you probably haven't seen on other boats. I mentioned previously that we have a forward scan transducer. This is where the BMG is coming for. It's a really handy concept, because we're able to see almost 100 feet in front of the boat with pretty good accuracy, and really get into those tight anchorages. Another benefit of running independent system on its independent backbone is we have a separate chart plotter, so with separate receiver. So if one system goes down, it's again another redundancy in that for offshore cruising. I was always debating, should we spend the extra money and get the 12-inch Raymarine here in the cockpit? It kind of put that in the back burner, because by the end of the day, when you're cruising, you're never really watching those things. You're holding an iPad, you know, you're sitting back here with an iPad. You're going down below, you're carrying an iPad. The multifunction displays in the last 5 years I found handy, of watching wind direction, how much fuel we have in the fuel tank. This is all brought to the displays. And adding a bigger one that you see on other boats, it's kind of on the way, almost getting in and out. And it's, in my experience, was a necessary upgrade. It's up to you guys if you want to go up to the 12-incher. But again, wanted to mention that all the electronics on these boats are complete. From the radar, AIS, autopilot, forward scan, and hope you enjoy that. Another upgrade here that we splurged in the last couple of years was installing the Seadeck in the cockpit. I wasn't sure about it, but I did a delivery with a friend of mine from Annapolis to Charleston, and his gunboat was Seadecked everywhere. It makes things easier, guys. I'm not sure about the look. Looks great, but most importantly, it's this nice soft feeling on your feet when you're walking up and down the boat, especially on for those long days on the water. We actually installed 20 centimeter fatigue pad between each wheel. So if you're behind that wheel for hours, it really saves your knees. And the thing that I like the best is you don't have to run that brush all the time. So 2 thumbs up. Thank you, Seadeck. All right, so we're inside the boat, and this is new for us. And in a little bit, I'm gonna cover what is this. That little display was almost 60 to 70 hours of work, and I absolutely love it. So what I'm talking about here is when we begin cruising, and even on the day sails, regardless of what's your battery bank, every 6 hours, you end up starting that engine because you're running out of batteries, right? So I said before we left for the Bahamas last winter, it's like, it's gotta be a better way. So I thought like grabbing a couple of lithium batteries will be, you know, solving the problem. Actually, it's more into, it's not just buying the batteries, it's the easy part, converting a vessel into a lithium powered vessel. So one thing went after the another, and we built a pretty awesome system of how everything works on this boat. The main objective here was to have power under sail and be completely independent of starting an engine, to have enough power to run microwaves, coffee makers, if you have to run a air fryer, enough power, self-sufficient power to do all this. So designing the backbone of the system was pretty good challenge. It took a lot longer than I thought and a lot more expensive than I thought, but I will try to explain in a little bit what we have going on here. So the very first thing that we've done when we start building this whole ecosystem, and again the system is complete, you guys can grow it to whatever dimension you want, but currently what we have going on, we started with a new charger. You can't charge regular batteries with the existing chargers on the boat. They have to be specifically designed chargers for lithium batteries. Since we started exploring the idea of getting that new charger, we said might as well go the extra mile and get a charger that is charger and inverter. So we stick with a brand called Victron, which I absolutely love. I don't think there is anything out on the market, especially in the marine industry. That Victron Energy company is absolutely awesome to deal with, and it's just very smart system. So we installed a 2000 multi-plus inverter charger on the boat, and from there on we continue building that system. We install a proper battery shunt that you guys can see over here that talks to this is portion of the computer display, which I'm going to try to explain really briefly if you're interested of how everything works. So we have a monitor that monitors the batteries. It sends the data to this computer that is located behind this lazarette, and the computer displays all the information here. It's a pretty neat system because that computer takes the data from the solar panel controllers through the chargers controllers, through the battery controller, sends them to a computer that perfectly displays everything that is happening here. Another feature that I really liked when we left the boat in the Bahamas, for those couple of week breaks before the trips, I was able to monitor the entire boat from my phone. How much solar she is getting, what's the level of the batteries as the day goes on. I don't know if you guys have cruised a lot into to the Caribbean. You're gonna find that plugging to the shore power is as expensive as the cost of the slip. So that's why we created that system, and it worked perfectly to a point that with the solar panel and the lithium batteries, we're able to power the boat for days at a time using microwave, television, whatever is on the boat. Most importantly, since we had this much power stored in the battery, there was no need anymore to keep Erato at 50 amps. So we say it's like this is redundant. So currently Erato, you can plug it straight into a 30 amp outlet and have the boat perfectly running with air conditioning and every load you can think. However, if you decide to go back to the 50 amp outlet, it's about 5 minutes to switch a plug behind me here, and you have your Y with the 230s, and you can plug into a 50 amp outlet at the marinas. We kept it at 30 because it's sufficient for what we do, but if you guys want to convert it, that's 5 minutes, switching a plug behind it. Why is the 30? Again, back to the Caribbean, the price per day on a 30 to a 50 amp outlet, it's almost doubled, and plugging into those marinas is already so expensive. So we actually saved thousands of dollars last winter of just having this upgrade done to the boat. Don't think that I'm forgetting anything else. And that concludes our video walkthrough on Erato. That's the name of the boat. Jeanneau 409, built in 2012. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to see the Lazarus, the dimensions, this wasn't the video to watch through. We're going to have you guys come in person with your broker and take this puppy out, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it, because I love this boat and I had a blast the last 5 years.